Well, hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. Here in March, we're covering a specific antagonist and their minions for a horror-themed Dungeons & Dragons campaign, and let's cover one of those minions right now. As a quick reminder, the antagonist that we're covering this month is La Contessa, who's basically a combination of Dracula and Van Helsing all kind of rolled into one. She is a noblewoman whose family and land were ruined by vampires. She was also an alchemical genius and used that genius to transform herself into some sort of undead horror so she could continue hunting what she hates, along with all other sentient undead. Unfortunately, over time, her morality has kind of bleached away, and now the ends certainly justify the means. La Contessa covers a couple of different horror subgenres, that being scientific horror, gothic horror, and vampire horror. So let's go ahead and cover one of her mimics today. I think I gave that away. It's Minion, but it is one of the many mimics that she employs, which is the Coffin mimic. As ostentatious as it is deadly, the Coffin mimic fits right in with the rest of a vampire crypt's decor. That is the point, of course. This monstrosity excludes a coppery perfume that most undead find particularly irresistible once they catch a whiff. The scent lures the creature in, invites it to lay down, and gives the Coffin mimic an easy meal. If that doesn't work, the shapeshifter isn't shy to resort to violence. The Coffin also doesn't feed on just undead. Pesky heroes poking around its hunting grounds taste just as good. As her fight against the vampires took everything she had and neared its end, La Contessa grew frustrated as those vampires went to ground to wait out her wrath and just wait for her to die. While the alchemist took profane steps to prolong her own life, she also bred further chemical manipulated mimics to aid her in the fight. The most successful of these has been the Coffin mimic. These wonderful abominations burrow into dusty tombs where vampires and the like hide from the sun and set themselves up to resemble other resting places. Then it's just a matter of temptation and patience. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the Coffin mimic statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. The Coffin mimic is a challenge rating 8 medium monstrosity that is unaligned. Has an okay armor class, a pretty good amount of hit points. It does have some saving throw bonuses, specifically to help it deal with undead. Stealth, of course. On top of the normal damage resistance and immunities, it does also have immunity to necrotic damage for pretty obvious reasons, and quite a few condition immunities, again, to help it with dealing with the undead. It does, like any other mimic, have Shape Changer, Adhesive, False Appearance, and Grappler. On top of that, it does have an ability called Blood Bloom, so any undead creature that begins its turn within 10 feet of the mimic has to succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom save or be charmed for the next minute. It can repeat the save at the end of every turn, and if it makes a save, it is immune to that effect for the next 24 hours. And it does have magic weapons, so all of its attacks count as magical. Speaking of attacks, it does have Pseudopod and Bite, and it can make 3 Pseudopod attacks as one action, but also has Swallow, so it makes a bite attack against a creature, sucks it into itself, swallows it, starts doing acid damage. On top of that, creatures swallowed by the Coffin lose their Shape Changer trait, if they have it, obviously, and revert back to their natural form, so this can really stymie a vampire, for example. If the Coffin dies, of course, they are able to get out, or they can go ahead and make a save against grapple to attempt to push their way out. But it is a decent enough save that it's going to be a little bit difficult even for vampires to do, and certainly for pesky heroes that maybe La Contessa doesn't want to have around. Of course, you could use the Coffin mimic in other situations as just an advanced mimic, as often comes out of Box of Teeth here. I would love to hear how you would use it in your own campaign down in the comments below. You can find La Contessa, all of her minions, and hundreds of other horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're interested in the horror-related projects that I have that are not Dungeons & Dragons, or the horror fiction that I write that includes grease paint right here, you can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. For now, though, as always, I really do appreciate your time and your attention, and please have a wonderful rest of the day.